it's been a good balance for us of we're going to work on this together. It's our home. We're working as a team to take care of our home, but we're going to do it within a time constraint that feels okay as far as it's not what we're spending our entire weekend doing. And like I said, it builds communication, it builds teamwork. Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. This podcast is for moms who are parenting differently abled children. Maybe you desire to switch to a more natural lifestyle to improve your family's health, but you have no idea where to start. You're longing for more routines and time, but every time you try to implement those tips that you spent hours researching, you realize that they do not work for your family dynamics. Hi, I'm Ashley. In this podcast, we are going to focus on implementing routines, switching to a more natural lifestyle, and uprooting those old mindsets that are keeping you stuck so that you can plant yourself firmly in the truth that Jesus offers. Our focus will be on creating small, customizable changes that will build on one another over time to create real impact. If you want to hear from a mama who has been raising several children with special needs and who knows how important it is to do this in a way that's sustainable and that doesn't add to your overwhelm, then this is the podcast for you. Pop in those earbuds, reheat that coffee for the third time, and let's go. Hey, welcome back. I am just sitting here. It's a nice, warm, sunny day where I live, and my children are outside playing. I've got my coffee and my water, and I am planning to record several episodes, so we are just going to get started. Today I want to talk a little bit about something that plagues pretty much all of us, I think. I don't know anyone who doesn't struggle with this, and that is the problem of keeping our home clean. More specifically, keeping our home clean and not consuming all of our time. I've had seasons of my life where I felt like literally all I did was clean my house, and even now I can fall into that, especially if I'm having kind of the wrong mindset around it. I could honestly just follow my children around all day picking up after them. And we are working towards them learning to pick up things. However, when you're dealing with developmental delays and things like that, sometimes, we can't expect for them to be able to do the things that other children their age are able to do. So for me, I really have to set my expectation based off of the skill that they're at currently. And then that typically means that they're not helping us with huge cleaning projects, or they're not taking on responsibility for cleaning things independently. Like, it's not their responsibility. I'm just trying to teach them, honestly, more right now of just like picking up after themselves, cleaning up toys, things like that. And for each of my children, that responsibility and that expectation is different because I really do tailor it to each child. And I'm sure you probably have that experience as well in your home. Whether you have a child who is developing normally or not, I think it's very important for us to really evaluate our children individually and to see what it is that is their strength, what can we expect from them, all of those types of things. But that's really not what I'm going to touch on today. I'm not going to specifically talk about cleaning and our children. I actually am going to talk about cleaning as far as what we do and systems that we can use in our home to clean in a way that just feels less stressful. Like I've shared before, visual clutter is very overwhelming to me. So I am a person who places high value on having my home look somewhat tidy. I'm certainly not a person who expects for my home to be spotless. I have 4 small children. I gave up that expectation a long time ago. However, I just want things to look orderly and to be, relatively clean. Because I have placed high priority on that, it has also been a point of stress and strain whenever my home is not meeting the expectations that I want it to. And then I have often reverted to taking on all of the responsibility myself and then getting upset and frustrated with people in my home whenever I felt like it was all on me and I wasn't able to keep up with it because it's really not a realistic expectation when there are 6 people in my home for me to be the only person picking it up. So it took a lot of just communication and figuring out different processes that work for our family, that work for everyone in our family. And it's still something we are working on. I'm not sure that anyone ever arrives in this area. I think there's always room for growth. And we change, like the seasons of our life change. So as seasons change, sometimes we have to switch up the way we were doing things. For instance, whenever I just had small children, like specifically infants who weren't mobile, it was obviously a lot easier for me to keep my house clean because I was home for the most part with them. And I obviously had a little bit more spare time, and I wasn't chasing children around. So what worked for me then no longer works for me now. And it can sometimes be hard to embrace the fact that what did work for us is no longer working for us because we are in a different season. And I've actually come up against that and then noticed myself resisting trying something new because I'm like, well, this thing worked. Why isn't it working now? So trying to make the old way work whenever really I just needed to try something new because I was in a new season. And this can honestly apply to many other things besides cleaning. But today we're just going to talk about cleaning. So like I mentioned before, my husband's really good about helping with house stuff. However, what has been a big point of growth for both of us is being willing to communicate with each other about our expectations and then come to a common ground of, okay, then this is our plan and this is what we both feel fine doing. This is how we want to approach taking care of cleaning our house. And just basically coming to a point of both of us feeling fine with the plan, both of us feeling like we're working together as a team to take care of our home. Like I mentioned, you may have children who are fully capable of taking over certain duties of cleaning in your home. And if you do, that's great. That's wonderful. Apply this across the board to whoever is able to help you with cleaning your home. Right now, my children just are not able to take on a full responsibility. They absolutely can help with things and they can learn, but they're more in that learning stage over the stage of like, this is your responsibility. It just requires oversight from us as the adults, which is okay. That's just part of, us nurturing and raising our children is being willing to invest the time to help them to learn how to do these things and care for themselves. So my husband and I, the new thing that we have been trying, that we've been doing, I don't know if it's been quite a year. It's probably been fairly close to a year. And what we do is we actually do a 1-hour clean of our house and we do it on the weekends. So this has worked well for us because I feel like it really creates a feeling of teamwork and kind of like camaraderie in the home of we're working on the home at the same time. We have a set goal. It's been communicated beforehand. We know what we're working on and we can just tackle it together. It also has helped me because, I've communicated my needs of these things are very important to me that we get done. My husband is aware of them. We are prioritizing them within a set time. So, we're not spending an entire day cleaning because that's really not fair to him either to expect. He works a full-time job. So expecting him to spend the entire weekend cleaning would not be fair to him. So it's kind of it's been a good balance for us of we're going to work on this together. It's our home. We're working as a team to take care of our home, but we're going to do it within a time constraint that feels okay as far as it's not what we're spending our entire weekend doing. And like I said, it builds communication, it builds teamwork. So what we did is the first time we did it, we sat down and we made a list of the things that we wanted to try to accomplish within that hour. And these are the types of things, we're not talking about things that require daily maintenance, such as dishes, laundry, things like that. I will try to share a laundry system, although kind of like I mentioned earlier about an old system that was working that's no longer working. That's where I'm at right now with my laundry system. And I'm trying a new system, but I'm not sure yet if it's going to work for me. I'm still kind of in the testing phase. So if it does work, I'll absolutely share it. But today we're not really talking about things that require daily maintenance. We're talking about things that would need to be done on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis or monthly, whatever. It's those things that are not an every single day. So what we did is we made a list of the things that need to be taken care of. For us, we basically focus on a weekly basis. And the first time that we did it, we actually set a timer for an hour. And then we kind of made a game out of it, actually. Let's see how much we can get done within an hour. So we set the timer for the hour. We went through our list. We kind of decided, okay, you're going to start with this, and then I'll do this and this. And we just got to work. We tried to see how much we could get done within that hour. So creating that list actually gave us kind of an expectation, this is our expectation, and is this actually realistic for what we can complete in that hour? And turns out, actually, it wasn't. We had too much stuff on the list, if I recall correctly. So we had to adapt the list a little bit. But I would highly recommend just starting with that. So sit down with whoever in your home is going to help you clean, whoever that may be, and write out the things. Make this a team effort, not just you creating a list, but everyone deciding what is important for us to take care of. Even if it's bi-weekly, then maybe the first week we're doing it and then we skip a week, and then the next week we're taking care of it, like whatever that may be for you. Just everyone sit together, create the list, decide, okay, this is what we're going to try to get done. Obviously, if you have more people cleaning, you could probably get more done within that hour than someone who it's just them or them and their spouse. But make the list with everyone there in agreement, and then also decide who's going to do which jobs, and then set your time for an hour and just get started. You could, like I said, make it like a game. How much can we get done in this time? You could have some kind of reward for everyone or something like that whenever you actually complete it. But I will say, try to stick to an hour if possible. Because what I have found, at least in my home, is if it's going to take a lot longer than an hour, we are more likely to not necessarily stick with it or to do it, because it feels like you're saying, oh, it's going to be an hour, but then it's actually 2 hours. And that feels a lot more intimidating, I think, than just saying we're all going to work on this for an hour and then we're going to feel good about our house after that. So try to be pretty strict with the hour. And then, like I said, evaluate when you're done, when the hour's up. Okay, how much did we actually get done? Is this list realistic? If it's not, then what can we take off, or what could we put on a rotation? So maybe this week we do this, next week we do that, and we switch them back and forth. Those types of things. Just be very individualized with your home and just make sure everyone's on the same page. The good thing for my husband and I is that we've actually done it long enough that he takes care of these things and I take care of those things. And we really don't have to sit down and communicate about it beforehand because it's just kind of become a routine for us. But you could also make it very individualized to your home. So maybe you have kids and they don't want to have to do the same job every single time. Or maybe you want them to grow their strengths in another area. So you have like, this is your task or your couple of tasks for the month. Or maybe you and your spouse don't want to do the same things every time. Absolutely individualize it to yourself. If you want to switch it up, if you want to keep the same jobs, do it however you want. The same with, it doesn't have to be an hour on the weekends. Maybe because you have a child who requires someone to be caring for them at all times, it's not feasible for you and your spouse to go and both clean at the same time. So maybe it's that he does a 30-minute block and then you are taking care of your child and then you switch out and you do your 30-minute block. Or maybe you actually would like to do it where you're doing like 15 minutes, 4 days a week. It's really just however you want to do it. What I found the reason why I don't like the daily task is because I like a to-do list, I like a checklist, and I like to be able to mark things off. And I'm very busy. And I did not actually like having to feel like I had one more thing to do every single day. And then if I didn't get it in, feeling like I had failed. And it just kind of felt more stressful and overwhelming to me to say, okay, I need to take care of these 2 things at the home every single day. Whereas whenever we broke it up into, we're going to take care of this 1 hour together on the weekends, then whenever I would see those things that I'm in my home almost all the time. So whenever I notice that the windows need to be cleaned, instead of being stressed out thinking I'm a failure because my windows are filthy, I just think, okay, we're going to clean them on the weekend. It is on our list to do. We will clean them on the weekend. Or maybe I notice something is dusty. And instead of thinking, okay, add that to your list, so you've got to hurry and get that done, having these feelings of guilt and shame because I feel like I'm not keeping up with the house. Instead, I just say to myself, that's on the weekend list. We'll take care of it this weekend. And it just kind of cleans things up a little bit for me mentally. It just kind of separates for me the feeling of like I'm always having to examine the house and make a mental list of what needs done. Because I know we have a system for that and we're going to take care of it on the weekend and I don't have to worry about it. So I just really like that. But that may not be what works for you, and that's totally okay. Figure out what works for you. I just want to give you some examples of things that are on our list, and that would be that we will take care of the bathrooms. We sweep and mop our entire house. We don't have any carpet in our house. So we will sweep and mop our entire house. We will clean off the windows. We dust. And then we do kind of more of like a more thorough pickup of the bedrooms, things like that. And then if we have time, we can also clean off appliances and things like that. Sometimes I end up actually doing that throughout the week just because, if I'm already in the kitchen and I notice that the microwave is dirty, and I'm already cooking, I will just quickly clean the microwave. Those types of things or like I'm starting to do laundry and I notice that the washer and dryer need wiped off, I'll just quickly do those. So that one's not as consistent. And you can make it a little bit more of a fluid list. So kind of like we have, where we have the set things that we're always doing, but then maybe you have a few other things that you just fit in as you can or as needed or as you have the time. Just really working with it that way. One thing that I do recommend though is whenever you get started and you start this list, I would get one of the magnetic dry erase boards that you can stick on your refrigerator. And I would actually write the list out and I would keep it up there. I did that for quite a while because I just felt like it kind of got it ingrained in our minds. We weren't having to think about it whenever it got time to clean. It wasn't like, oh, I have a piece of paper with all of this written down. Let me go hunt it down. No, we were just able to walk into the kitchen, look at the refrigerator and see these things are on the list. I actually wrote it in permanent marker so that I wasn't worrying about my children erasing it. And then also we could just go and either put a check by it or scratch it out with a dry erase marker with no worries that it would come off. Obviously, yeah, you can use rubbing alcohol to get the permanent marker off of your dry erase board, but it's not going to easily wipe off. So it was something that worked well for us until we really got into the habit of knowing this is what we're doing. Now, again, we don't have to think about it, but it was a great way to get started. And then, like I said, it's taking kind of the barrier down. So you're not having to put as much effort in to get started, put as much effort in to remember what you're doing. Just making it as simple on yourself as possible. And I will say, there was like probably about a month period of time, not that long ago, really just in the last few weeks have we started back, but where we were just really busy on the weekends. We had a lot going on and we were not doing our hour clean. And a couple of weeks ago, I had told my husband, I said, we've really got to get back to this. And we did it like a few weekends ago. We got it done and we've actually done it. I'm recording on a weekend as well. We did it this weekend and I was just like, this feels so good. Like this has to be a non-negotiable in our home because it just makes the week feel so much better whenever you know that you're starting off on the right foot. You've got all of this stuff taken care of. You don't have to think about it again until the coming weekend. And on top of that, it's just an hour. An hour feels so much more doable than, I'm going to clean for 3 hours. That sounds horrible. That sounds like no fun at all. No, thank you. I don't want to clean for 3 hours. And my husband especially doesn't want to clean for 3 hours. So I just love it because it kind of keeps your house a little bit more in maintenance mode in a way that feels very feasible. So just to recap a little bit, what I would recommend you do is first to set a time, figure out what would work for your schedule. Is it going to be 2 30-minute blocks? Do you need to do 2 30-minute blocks where each of you are cleaning at a separate time or 2 30-minute blocks where you're cleaning at the same time? Are you going to do the hour block? What day do you plan to do this? Sit down with your family, create that plan. Then the next step would be you're going to write down everything that you want to set the goal of doing. The first few times you do this, make sure you have a timer. Make sure you're evaluating what's actually getting done, what's not. And then after you've gotten that feedback, adapt your list so it's actually realistic to be done in those times. This is going to help you to really evaluate and to prioritize what is the most important to you in your home. I can't stand filthy floors. It's extremely important to me that my floors look clean. So that's a high priority for me, but you get to decide what's important in your home. After that, create your set list. Get somewhere that you can put it in a more permanent place. If you don't want to get a magnetic dry erase board, then figure out somewhere else that you can put it where it's visible to everyone, it's easily accessible. Anyone can walk by and see it. Then just make sure you're creating that habit. So I would even set a timer or a reminder in your calendar on your phone. Let's say your day is Saturday. That's usually when ours is. So I would set a reminder for Saturday morning. Hey, today we've got to do our 1 hour clean. Let's talk about it and figure out where can we fit this in. And then after that, just kind of keep at it and just be consistent with it. As you're going through this, just adapt as you need to, adjust things on the list, adjust times, whatever works for you, but just try to be consistent with it for, a few months and then see if you start to notice the difference in the way you feel about your home, in the stress you feel about taking care of your home, in the teamwork you feel towards everyone working together on the home. just all of that. I have noticed such a difference, and I really want that for you guys as well. I do think it's an adjustment. It's a new habit. It's going to take you some time to fall into that habit. It's going to take everyone some time, and that's totally okay. So I just encourage you to give it enough time to actually see if it's working for you. Don't just try it one Sunday or one Saturday and then no one likes it because it's something new and it's cleaning. So not everyone loves to clean. And just give it that time to actually see instead of giving up after maybe it doesn't go great. Or like us, if you've fallen out of the habit for a little bit of time, you may actually realize how much it was helping you. And then I'm like, okay, we have to be consistent with this. So even if you fall out of the habit, it's totally okay. Just have a conversation about it and just say, this is super important. I know we've fallen out of the habit, but can we please get back to it? I would love to hear from you. What is it that's on your list? And what are you guys, maybe like what day are you going to do it? What's your schedule going to be? And what all are you including on your list? So come and find me on Facebook or on Instagram. I will share the links in the show notes and just message me and share with me about that. I love hearing from people just the different ideas. It gives me new ideas. It gives me new ways to think about things. And I'm all about just trying new things and growing and learning. It's one of my favorite things. So yeah, just come share with me. I'd love to hear back from you about how it's working for you and if you've kind of adapted it into a way that fits your unique family. So that is all for today, and I will see you back next time. Hey, before you go, if you found value in today's episode or you learned something new, would you take a minute to share with someone else that you know would be blessed by it? I would also love it if you would leave me a review. This lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and I love hearing from you. You can connect with me further over on Facebook or Instagram. Until next time, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constantly in prayer. Romans 12:12.